Okay, for our final, last but certainly not least, presentation, and I actually checked this time, it really is Dante Anderson presenting. Sorry about that, Ed. And Dante is from Kuma, and he's going to be presenting Dogfights.
Thank you. Wade's stratagem is working of not having beer at the event. So I wanted to keep things quick because we're last. But I'm going to be even quicker than my original plan because we all got to get out of here and have a drink. So what I want to do is talk just for 1 minute about Kuma to give the presentation some context. And if you want to talk more about the business side, I'll buy you a drink over at the bar. We can talk about that. I want to show you Dogfights for a couple of reasons. One is that it shows pretty nicely and quickly. It's a flying game. And secondly, it's interesting. And Oren was asking that we show something from a development standpoint that was interesting. I brought a bunch of the developers with me, but we made it in a first-person shooter engine. It's a flying game. You'll see in a second. Specifically Source, the Half-Life 2 engine. So it was an interesting technical challenge from a coding and art standpoint. I have no idea what they did. I just yelled at them. They're here, so ask them questions. So bring up the client. This is Vadim, my lovely assistant, who's a producer at Kuma. This helps illustrate what we are. Kuma is, we develop and publish ad-supported episodic games for the PC. They're 100% online distributed, through our site and mostly our partners, which I'll tell you about, and they're free. Thus from the ad support. You can see, I don't know if you can read that, but there's 5 games we have up now. The Kill Point, which is a Spike TV show that's currently airing right now. The finale was a mini-series, is this Sunday. Dino Hunters, Shootout, and Dogfights. Shootout and Dogfights are both television shows on the History Channel. Shootout is done. It's in reruns now, but Dogfights is right in the middle of its season on the History Channel. So we have a lot going on right now because we have 2 sort of live, currently running games that are based on television shows. And the most of our traffic is driven by, as the show is playing on, on the cable channel, it says, you've seen the show, now play the game on your PC. And we get a lot of traffic, and we can, everything, and it goes through their site, comes to ours. We can track it very closely. There's a very high correlation between one of those little bugs appearing on cable and people coming to our site and downloading our client, which is what we call this. This is the front end, and it's really simple. Say you're watching Spike, you see the show, you go there, passes over to Kuma Games, you'd get a teeny little installer, shows you this, and then you pick one of the games, and then you get a larger install, which actually, brings you the whole Source, the guts of the Source / Half-Life 2 engine. So go into Dogfights. And we're in our 5th episode right now of Dogfights, going on our 6th. The show itself on history has, 20-somewhat episodes, but it spans sort of the history of flight, and it even, well, I'll get into that in a second, but it starts with World War I dogfighting, goes through World War II, Korea, etc., and it even is going to have at the end of the thing tank dogfights and helicopter dogfights, I guess. There was some historical reference. Michael Vick dogfights, I think they're working on that. I had to throw that in. Anyway, we focused on World War II. When we cut the deal with history, we said, look, we can't do World War I and triplanes and all this kind of stuff. So we're doing 8 or 9 episodes, World War II. This is the latest episode. And I think it's, what is it called? No Room for Error, Death at Low Level. They change their names all the time. You've got German and American planes. You're flying in, what is ostensibly the Swiss Alps, which we just sort of modeled very, very loosely.
Used to a mouse.
Right, and that's why Vadim is by far one of our best gamers, who's the only guy who can play with one of these touchpads. But what we do is, if you've seen these things on history, they have like 5 episodes or 5 scenes in it, and they bring out the old pilot, and they're great shows. And we just pick one that we can best make into the team dogfight combat. Every mission also has a sort of a training single-player mode, which is actually run in the multiplayer engine, which is another little tech thing. There's also a a pro mode where I don't know if you guys can see there's little flags indicating friendlies and enemies, the red and green flags. Did you get into a game?
Yeah, but
You are. How many people are in? So another interesting thing is we're kind of winging it because we just plugged in here and did we find an online game with some people?
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
so it worked.
flags.
Okay. Oh, we're in a pro. Okay, so there's an easy mode. Then let me say that this is the pro mode, where all of your planes, both friendly and enemy, are indicated with very obvious icons. There's no ammo depletion, and certain other things make it a lot easier. And the interesting thing from a sort of a consumer standpoint is that Half-Life 2 is a high-end game. It's on par. It's not quite as good as Unreal 3. You'll see the latest version of Half-Life 2 and Valve stuff in October when they release their latest stuff. But we, by definition, have a casual audience because TV is mass market. So we get a lot of people coming in. We try and keep our games relatively low spec, vis-a-vis the whole Half-Life 2 world. And we lose a lot of people, too, who really like the History Channel, like what we're doing, but just can't play. And we help them a lot, and we can dumb down settings and certain things. And that's basically it. We have a couple of... you finally get into a game, huh?
I'm in a game.
Do you want me to break your heart, and do you want to show another one?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh, have you not killed anybody yet?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it's tough with that.
Hey, what are we doing?
Go into maybe a different map, but in an easy mode, and they'll just see it. So the neat thing about this, again, for the casual audience, there's no landing, there's no taking off. You just get right into the thing, which is in the spirit of the show, the Dogfight show. And a lot of people can pick it up pretty quickly. And we have training modes, which, if you just want to be alone, you can learn basic technique. It's very easy after, I shouldn't say a gamer, but half an hour playing alone. Most people kind of get the hang of it. So I'd just like to open it up for questions. I got Mike and Greg, artist, programmer, who are the core of the team, and at Kuma, that's kind of most of the team. Then there's a couple of other people in the back who also worked on the game. And if you have any questions, because I do, on how they built the thing, please ask. Go ahead.
What would the advantages and disadvantages of using first-person shooter?
Greg, come on over. Greg is the main program of the job. I think there were no advantages. What do I know?
Well, the main advantage was it was an engine that was already built. You didn't have to worry about rendering or mostly any physics or anything like that. You focus on the gameplay aspects of making a plane fly. Now, the hard part was making a plane fly because in the source engine, it's designed specifically to be a first-person shooter. And as such, things like the mouse controls don't exactly, they don't facilitate the sort of delay you need to sort of simulate a plane flight where you move your mouse and that sort of simulates a control, which then moves your camera view. In Source, the camera is basically stuck to the mouse, and sort of breaking that without breaking the engine was one of the biggest challenges.
Any more questions?
People want to drink, man. I can see what's going on.
You said you put up 5 levels of this?
Yeah. Yes.
And how long, I'm just wondering what the time is like, built out before? 3.5 weeks per level? But you did some upfront pre-production that I did mention.
Yeah, what did you, Greg, we were sort of working on it part-time, maybe 3 or 4 months?
I think total I worked about 2 months to get the engine to where it is now.
And as we get more and more player feedback, we come out with new features constantly. Like the hard mode was a new feature. Just whatever is called for, we come out with.
Yeah, and the flight model is very sort of aerodynamics, physics, sim-like. We're cheating a lot, and that just worked nicely with the fact that we wanted to make it dead easy to fly. Anybody else?